In the hollow-bodied irons market, there has been a club that has sat at the top of the pile for quite some time. The TaylorMade P790 is the player's distance iron of choice for many. Look nice, feel nice, forgiving. So when Callaway brings out the new Ai150s, a hollow-bodied, good-looking, forged-face forgiving iron, why would I choose these instead of the P790? Well, let's find out, shall we? That's a solid knock, a bit left of target. Yeah, it's gone the right distance, just pulled it a tad. We'll kick things off with a solidly struck 8 iron, and I'll talk about how these differ from 7 iron and above. So 8 to wedge is a different face material than that of 7 iron to 4 iron. And we'll talk about, can I spot the difference in terms of feel, and can I see any difference in terms of performance. But the first thing to note about these clubs is that they're £200 a pop. And you compare that to a TaylorMade P790 equivalent as a barometer, and we're looking at perhaps £180 a club. So we've got to justify that £20 extra spend, and where are we finding it and how are we justifying it. So let's look at one reason why you might buy these over other alternatives. And I'd say the first reason would be the preference in the way these look. And they look fantastic. To be fair, Callaway have done an incredibly good job. I like a bit of shiny steel, and these look like a premium iron, and then they've got kind of this satin finish on the top half of the blade as well. They sit really nice at address and frame the ball really well. Look stunning in the bag, so on a looks appeal perspective, I think they're going to appeal to many. That's one of the shorter irons. So these potentially have a whole different feel to that than the longer iron, and I assume one is meant for sort of forgiveness and ball speed, and the other is focused on feel. So what did I think of the feel from the 8 iron? It was fine, it was good. It was definitely not a forged iron. As I always say in these kind of videos, it kind of replicates a forged feel but doesn't get close, in my opinion, even though I have no major issues with it. To suggest it's a forged iron is a little bit like all of these hollow bodied irons, a sort of step too far in my opinion. That's an absolutely stunning strike, felt incredible off the face. And I've got to say that was a 6 iron, so very much different than supposedly the face inserted on the 8 and wedge, but felt really good and felt as though it absolutely zipped off that club face. Now another reason why you might choose these clubs is because of the way they're lofted. They're closer to moving towards a traditional loft, and I say closer, they're 31 degrees, which is 1 degree closer than many others. Standard option in a player's distance iron is generally a 30°7. These have gone a little bit weaker and edged towards the traditional, which might appeal to a few, but what I've not seen so far is a weaker ball flight. That thing was absolutely firing off the club face. So I'd love to hear your feedback. Have you heard much of the Ai150s from Callaway? If you have, what are your thoughts on them? This might be the first time that you've heard of them or seen them, so again, what are your thoughts on them? Because undoubtedly this is a stunning iron. It performs really well. The problem is it doesn't really do anything exciting that isn't already out there. And I think that's a major problem that the manufacturers have right now. And maybe even they've got a lack of enthusiasm for the product. I can do this review almost with my eyes shut, and apart from a sort of almost like an advert in showing you what these clubs look like, you're not going to learn a great deal, because like I said, all clubs, irons in particular, seem to perform pretty much identical when they're in the same category. The only time things change is when we get a different type of iron. So let's go for the extremes, a blade compared to a halo from Cleveland, then we're going to see some differences. But when we're in category, club for club, P790 versus Ai150, it's exactly the same. I've got to say the ball comes off nice enough. Just a little 8 iron, push it down the fairway. One thing that does interest me about these irons and a few models of late from different manufacturers is almost a lack of interest from the manufacturer to promote them. When these came out, if I'm honest with you, which was a few weeks ago, didn't see or hear a great deal about them from Callaway themselves. And if you go onto the website, there's very little information that suggests what these irons are about and why they should appeal to you to buy. And that bit leads me on to perhaps another video that I'm going to record later on this morning, because I am confused as to why there isn't more enthusiasm from brands to sell their products right now. It is strange. Oh, that's absolutely buttoned down the middle. That's a 6-iron, which a nice friendly Hollywell bounce as usual has put me to the left side of the fairway. That 6-iron goes like an absolute rocket. I love the way that comes out the face. It was a little bit firmer that one than the first. I definitely sort of felt that one a bit more. And it is a different feel, I would say, from more of the, I've played a few more 8-irons and a few more pitching wedges, so there is a softer feel down that bottom end, but not hugely recognisable. I'm going to call it quits there. There's not a great deal I can tell you. Like I said, you've seen some nice pictures of them, you've seen how good looking these irons are, you know the price difference. From a performance perspective, they're excellent, they look incredible. The only problem is they're no different, in my opinion, than anything else that exists out there right now. But that all being said, if you're in the market for a new set of irons, then I would 100% say that these Ai150s should be on your list to try. Super impressive and worth a go. If you've got £200 a club to spare, that is. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will catch you all very soon, and as I said, your feedback in that comment section down below would be welcomed. See you later.